Hey, what's going on? We're back with another episode of What Not to Miss with Chris, where today we're going to take a look at the imbalance between supply and demand currently in the truckload market. Let's start with truckstop.com and FTR's market demand index and current broker posted spot rate index for all modes for 2024 thus far. Now, based on the broker posted spot rates data, rates have been climbing slightly over the past 4 weeks, however have remained below 2023 levels all year. And as of their most recent reading, we're less than 4% below this time last year and nearly 6% below the 5-year average. Now, in contrast, the total market demand index has remained at or above 2023 levels almost all year and noticeably above year-over-year levels for the last 4 weeks. Similarly, FreightWave's National Truckload Index 7-day average depicts spot rates as being flat to slightly negative on a year-over-year comparison, with volumes being up above 10% just before the start of Q2. Now, why these two indexes are not exactly apple-to-apple comparisons, as truckstop.com and FTR are comparing broker-posted spot rates for all modes, and FreightWave's NTI is only looking at dry van spot rates on loads over 250 miles. The idea is to show that while demand and volumes are elevated year-over-year, spot rates remain relatively flat. So why is that? Well, simply put, it's a matter of capacity overwhelming the amount of demand or volumes available in the market currently. Take, for example, the net changes in trucking authorities data provided by Carrier Details. Now, this data measures the net change of property authorities on a weekly basis. Just during the period of time from April of 2021 to April of 2022, on average, there was over 1,450 net property authority additions each week. Compare that from April of 2023 to current, and the weekly average is netting negative 418 per week. Carrier Details also posts a weekly count of motor carrier property trucking authorities overall, which have decreased 6.5% on a year-over-year basis, but are up 41% on a 5-year comparison. Now, another way to gauge capacity is through the BLS's monthly payroll data for general freight trucking, long-distance truckload. The data shows a decline overall in employment for this sector since the end of Q1 2023, but as you can see, is still grossly oversaturated compared to pre-COVID levels, even when taking into consideration the increase of truckload volumes since that period. Now, in conclusion, while demand has remained relatively stable regardless of inflation and economic uncertainties, the capacity-to-demand ratio remains way above average. The exodus of carriers in the market continues to move at a snail's pace, and that is putting pressure on spot rates and eventually contractual rates, however, at a much slower rate than most previously anticipated. Now, if these trends remain consistent as they have this year on both the supply and demand side, rates should continue to increase slowly throughout the next couple of quarters. Well, that'll do it for today. Thanks again for checking out another episode of What Not to Miss with Chris, and until next time, take it easy.